The one and only Frank Sinatra on KLOS. Good morning to you. It's a Monday morning, the 30th of September, 1996. Welcome. It's time for the Impact program. Impact is the in-studio guest format where we discuss a wide variety of topics. Tonight I do have an in-studio guest who has been here a number of times before. He is my dear friend that is the founder of the Frontline Foundation. His name is Ray Castellani. Good morning to you, Ray.
Fly me to the moon, Frank.
Are you responsible for that? What is this about here? Maybe we've added it to the format. Maybe
I love it.
Maybe.
I love it.
Call the program director at home, wake him up, and thank him. Or maybe he's listening right now, and the hotline will be ringing any second. How are you, Ray?
I'm okay, Frank. I mean, boy, listening to that music, it sort of just jazzed me right up.
Yep.
I mean, it was really, it's really good. I love to hear that kind of music. And I'm glad to be here. I thank you. And we have... can I say something first?
You can say whatever you'd like.
I got to thank all your listeners and people that have responded. It's really magnificent to respond to the efforts that I'm trying to bring forth, and the response has been great. I mean, the $3 Club, we're up to 89 members now, and probably have 5 more. So I would say 89 as of right this moment, but there's 5 more that are pending. And the people that are coming to Frontline and giving, and I just got to thank you, because we've been on this show it's going to be 8 years now. Mm-hmm. I haven't been on the show. I've been on with you for 8 years, right. But it's been 8 years that we've traveled this road together. Next month.
And 9 years ago, what was the inception of Frontline? And what is Frontline for those who've never heard you before?
Oh, I ought to say that, huh? Well, I guess so, thinking that everybody knows what it is now. But you've got so many listeners and so many new listeners. Frontline was started, the inception was 9 years ago in December. And it was... it came out of basically despair, my despair, the inception of the idea. And the idea was to serve food to the area known as Skid Row in downtown Los Angeles. And without going into a elongated story, I fulfilled the condition of going downtown one time in December of 1987 and... thinking it was a one-time trip, and I was served at that day. I woke up, it was pouring raining at 3 o'clock out of my back of my truck. I was high living in those days, in the back of my truck, and went into this church and made 111 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and a pot of coffee, and around 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, two other friends of mine, or 3 other friends of mine, went down to Skid Row at 5th and San Pedro, and handed this out, and I just said that's it. I fulfilled all these conditions, and this March of '96, which is several months ago, we passed 500,000 meals served in that area, and that's truly a miracle. So I would say Frontline Foundation is a organization that serves food to the population of downtown Los Angeles to the tune of 500,000 meals since we started, and with no conditions. And that's a long line of meals.
For some that may have never heard you before, the first thing they might think is, oh, that must make him feel real good about himself.
On the contrary, Frank, I love your questions. Now, you just lead me in all these directions, man. Wow. You get right to my core, so to speak. No, I don't. There's a to get into a framework. There's the word freedom, and if I am truly a free man, there are no contingencies on my actions of any sort. I don't feel good or I don't feel bad. If I have a feeling when I serve this food, or when or what has happened and what has conspired over this period of time, is humbleness. It's just humbles me to think that I was used as an instrument to do what I do. I would also like to say that if anybody clicks on to a negative thought by what I'm saying, I feel sorry for you. Please don't, because I have thousands of people on Skid Row that will back me up on what I'm saying. They will back me up to the end of the world on what I'm saying, because they know me through and through, like you do, Frank. And when they look at me, they don't see me feeling good or me feeling bad or me feeling one way or the other or me making any money because I receive nothing for what I do. They see a human being that cares, and that's the name of the game. So if you're out there listening and castigating me in any way, shape, or form, just remember one thing: I care. I care about humanity. And ask yourself if you care about humanity. I covered that base, Frank.
Have you always been like that?
No. I was a self-centered human being. I like to use the word self-centered. I sang that song, Do, Re, Mi, 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 Mi. The world centered around me. I wanted to get this. I wanted that. Wherever I went, it was me, 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 me. This is a me, me, me society, too, that we live in. Everybody's, I want to get well. I want to get this. I want to get the job. I want to get the girl. I want to get the wife. I want to get the money. I want to get the car. I want. And that's the way I was. I wanted the world and everything that it had in it. And as a result of that tremendous want, about 27 years ago, I wound up in the gutter, in the gutter. So face down, and so I lost that battle, and I really have never recovered. I really never have recovered. I don't want to say face down in the gutter, but I certainly am not. My best foot forward is Skid Row. So, and that's not exactly the top of the line, but for me it is the top.
Why Skid Row of all places?
That's where I was directed to go, Frank. I was directed. I don't choose this. I don't. Some people say, well, it's of choice. That's not true. That's an erroneous statement. If anybody thinks that, I was afforded the opportunity, unknowns to me, directed to me, through me, to do this. And I had nothing to do with it. I still don't have anything to do with it. My God, wouldn't you pick a better place? I mean, if somebody's going to do some good work, let me at least do it in Hollywood or someplace like that. But there's a lot of avenues that I could have traveled. A lot of avenues that I certainly would have loved to have traveled. But maybe I never would have learned what I've learned. I don't know.
Is there a creed that Frontline Foundation stands for? Is there something that you've tried to impress, or certain qualities of life you've tried to impress upon what Frontline Foundation does? What does Frontline Foundation stand for?
If I, yes,
honesty.
Well, yeah, right. I would say if I think I want to. I think I want to phrase it this way and say what I stand for.
Okay.
And what I have implemented into Frontline, because I don't think I set out to have Frontline stand for anything, but I do know what I stand for, and I stand for the principles of purity, the principle of honesty, unselfishness, and love. I stand for understanding and compassion and tolerance. I stand for helping my fellow man. These are the principles that I have tried to incorporate. Excuse me. I am very passionate about Frontline because it's a vehicle. It's just a vehicle. It's a car. It's a truck. It's a vehicle. It's a vehicle that I bring to it the love, compassion, and understanding, the purity of thought, letting go of all these kind of things that hang on to organizations. And this is not that. This is just a pure entity. I just give for the purity of giving, and I don't want anything in return. I don't want anything. And all the volunteers, and there are hundreds of volunteers, are basically all the same way. When you walk in the front line, if there's a chip on the shoulder, if there's any antagonistic viewpoints, if there's anything oblique in any way, shape, or form, it's flushed out right away, because people don't come there for that reason. They come there because they want to give, and so the cream of the crop, the cream comes to the top, and so Frontline has taken that entity or that position, so to speak, because I am very that's what I want to run a certain way. I run it a certain way, and because one of the main things is I go down into an area that is broken, that is hurting, that is crying, that is in despair, and I can't have egotistical, self-centered, selfish human beings going downtown. It just won't work. I can't have them making the sandwiches. It won't work. I can't have them giving, the love and the energy that's put into the food. It's got to be that, because that goes carried downtown. I believe this. I mean, it may be a far-fetched idea, but then again, how far-fetched could it be when I can walk those streets alone at night with my wife, and everybody say, "Hi, Ray, I love you," and where nobody else can walk. So maybe it's not so far-fetched after all.
Well, along the lines of, in a sense, the food also being the vehicle, there's at least one incident that bears it out with the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Talk about that.
This is years ago, but a woman came in and was making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and she was making them, and I said, "Jesus, don't make them that way. Slow it down. Make them with love. I was working in the kitchen. I don't need to do that." And she slapped them together. I said, "Please don't." And so anyway, I stopped her from making them, and she had probably made about 20 or 25 of them or thereabouts. And when we went down that day, they returned the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. It was the weirdest feeling I've ever got. I never forgot that. I kept telling Fred, "Look at this. There's another peanut butter and jelly. For some reason, they're coming back." They never came back, and they came back that day. So it verified out what I believe these things that I'm saying. I really believe them.
If someone would like to get involved with Frontline, what might they do?
Well, which is now the spectrum is wide, but a lot of people, they love to go downtown, and I understand that, but that's not where I need the help. I need the help wherever anybody lives. I need the help where people are at home. I need the help from sending in donations of tuna fish and anything that can help me. I need that $3 club to go me into the next step that I must climb, or if Frontline is to continue, which is a magnificent way to be involved. $3 and you're there.
Talk more about the $3 club. Some might not know what it is.
Well, it's just a club. It started in March, and God bless all those people. It was another idea that came to me. Again, instrumented to me through me, and that this whole thing has been nickel and dimed, and so I said, well, if I had 1,000 people with $3, that's $3,000, and that would allow me, the Frontline, to take the pressure off of me, and to get someone in there that could help me, and people have responded to it. They've responded through your show. They've responded to my flyers that I send out, and it's a way, and it comes back to me in the notes and the letters from the people. My God, saying, "Ray," and I get to know these people, and they're involved in something. They're with something. They're doing something. They're taking an action. Everybody wants to do something. Everybody sits on their sits down and does nothing instead of taking an action and action and action. It does no good to talk about it. So this is an action taken. It's a $3 action. It's a pack of cigarettes. And I told you that Jean was the one that brought it to my attention. A beautiful letter, 4-page letter. And I really never thought about it, but about the involvement of people. That she said, finally I can get something I can touch. And people can touch now Frontline. They can touch Frontline for very little. They can come and volunteer on every day. We're open from 7 o'clock to about 10, and making the food, preparing the next day. So I need volunteers that can come in on a Saturday. That can come in and say, "Hey, what can I do? What can I do?" And that's in Van Nuys on Sepulveda Boulevard, on Oxnard, off of Sepulveda. Oxnard and Sepulveda is a crossroad, and you keep on Oxnard and take your first left in an alley, and then look for the big sign. It says Frontline Foundation right on Oxnard. It's right past Granger, on Oxnard, and so there's just many ways. We have corporate 25 for the small businesses that give $25 every 6 months, and so that's starting a little bit, hopefully, and then besides the multitude of letters, Frank, I mean, I showed you those stack of letters. I mean, the support, Ray, keep on going, Ray. I mean, God Almighty, it's phenomenal, and that's probably the miracle. I mean, there's so many people involved. I mean, it's not me. My God, I'm a zero compared to what's going on here. I mean, this is magnificent. So the involvement is there, Frank. It's tremendous.
If someone would like to contact you, what's the mailing address?
That's right. And I love those letters. It's Frontline Foundation, or care of Ray Castellani if they want to write that down, but I'll get it anyway. I pick up the mail. And it's P.O. Box 570303, Tarzana, 91357. That's Frontline Foundation, P.O. Box 570303, Tarzana, 91357. And I just love, I get letters. I mean, I was on a show the last time, this gal, 20 years, just had a 20-year-old birthday, wrote me a letter, and for her birthday, she wanted from her mother $36. Tiffany Milstead, her name is, and she wanted she wanted $36 to join the $3 club, and she did it. I mean, can you imagine? I got kids coming in. I got a kid there, 15 years old right now, that's every day Saturday, rollerblades in and helps out with all these. I mean, it's phenomenal. It is phenomenal. And the letters that I receive from the young people, I mean, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I got three young girls in there. One 14 that was there for 3 months over the summer, every day. I mean, my God, what a worker. She became everybody just loved her, you know, and that's what it's about. It's about if humanity is to succeed, if our society is to go on, mankind must care about each other. And it doesn't right now. It doesn't. It's not, I can go on blaming everything. I can go on and blame the city for what they don't do. And I blame the police. Oh, God, let's blame the police department and blame the undereducated and blame the overeducated and this one and that one. Blame the judges and the lawyers and blame everything. But God, when I wake up in the morning, I am responsible for me to say hello to you. I don't have to have a judge telling me to say hello to you. I don't have to have a lawyer saying hello. I don't have to have the government can't say, well, now you can't wake up in the morning and say hello to your fellow man. Go on the freeway and watch how many people cut people off, and you'll find how wonderful humanity is. Instead of taking that extra moment and saying, geez, man, maybe I'll give him a break. But no, let's go. Get in that car and zoom along. Just do it tomorrow morning. You'll see it. You'll feel it. You'll sense it. Anybody will. And that's our humanity. That's our state of our world today. And we can only blame me. or myself, because I make up humanity. Nobody's pushing, nobody's holding a gun to my head saying, I want you to act this way. Nobody is. At least, not to me, Frank. Maybe to you. No, not to me. But I am responsible. I am responsible for my own actions. And I'm responsible for what I do. And I have to stop blaming everybody and everything for the way the world is. The world is made up of people, and people are the ones that are hating. People are the ones that are cutting people off. People are the ones that are shooting people. People are the ones that are stabbing people. People are the ones that are doing the things that are being done. Nobody's forcing these people to do it. Nobody says take your pants off or put your pants on. It's the individual. It's the individual. And God Almighty, I just happen to be one of those individuals that's free enough of self to think about somebody else and how I can meet their needs for one brief moment of the day. And that's what I stand for. That's what Frontline I Hope stands for, because I've serviced 500,000 meals on Skid Row. I had a guy from Skid Row last week call me up. His name is Russell. He said, hey, Ray, I just wanted to call you up. I didn't see you, and I heard that you were sick. On Skid Row on the streets, heard I was sick, and I had bronchitis. My God, how do you test that out? The street can get around that street. I can say one thing. If I'm sick, oh, man, they'll all know it. I mean, the love that they give me is unparalleled. True, they may bop somebody over the head the next minute. But my God Almighty, it's proven to me that love is the answer. Proven to me. It's a crime to blame people and places and things for my state of affairs. And as long as I can keep blaming, I don't have to look at myself. And so maybe I get intense. Maybe it's intense. But Frank, isn't there anybody that will stand up and say, geez, I just want to help my fellow man instead of knocking my fellow man? They'll call in your show and knock. I mean, why can't somebody call up and say, geez, let's help, Frank. Let's do something, Frank. Let's get together and make a difference. Let's go clean up L.A. They're going to clean up L.A. You know, they swept it after the earth or the riots. The big sweep of L.A. What a bunch of baloney that was. What about today? It's just as dirty as it was then. So let's go out there with brooms and let's sweep up L.A. If you want to clean, that is. And these are the little things I think of. If you want to get across the street, you walk across the street. You don't stand on one side and say, geez, I'd like to get across the street. And so these things pain me inside because I care. I've learned how to care. I've learned how to care for my fellow man. I didn't learn how to uncare. And I'm not into semantics or all the baloney that goes along with that stuff. I just simply care about you. And that's the way I feel. And that's the way I am. And that's what you get.
And it's one thing to say that. Another thing to do it.
To do it.
We have a society that talks. A good game.
Man, I can talk. Man, if I can sit here on your show and talk and write books and talk and, oh my God, and talk about the state of this and the state of that. And you could say, well, Mr. Castellani, what have you done about this? Well, Frank, frankly speaking, I haven't done too much about it yet, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. You know, you follow me?
Oh, yeah.
It's always like the dancer that's always going to get out of the rehearsal and go dance professionally that never does. There's always the guy writing a book that never writes the book. It's just talk. And God, it just I'm not saying if it's you want to drive a car, drive a car. I'm not saying you got to do what I do. Don't misunderstand me. Jeez, but everybody's complaining. Everybody is complaining. And in the president's when he got the nomination, you know, they sit around, they're heads of states, and they sit around and they said, well, what topic should we talk about on your acceptance? And it was hope. Because that's the thing we lack, is hope. I wonder if anybody picked up on that. They just didn't arbitrarily pick that topic to talk about because they know what the countries of the world are. They lost the hope. I mean, everybody wants to kill everybody. I mean, what kind of a world do we live in?
A fear-filled world.
True, it's totally riddled with fear. They're afraid they're going to take my property or something. But I mean, is that where you want your daughter to grow up in, that kind of a world, Frank? I mean, is it really? Do you want her to walk down these streets to be safe, or do you unsafe? I mean, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about you. We're talking about me. We're talking about Tammy. We're talking about people. We are the people. We make the change. And if I go out tomorrow and think about somebody else's welfare, I've done something. I've done a first step, so to speak. And that's what Frontline has done with all the volunteers. They've taken a step out of themselves and done something in whatever way they possibly could, whether it's 50 cents or $1. I don't care. I'm not looking for $1 million. I'm just looking to get people involved. And that's what this has afforded. What a master plan it was 9 years ago. I never knew it. And what you've contributed is unbelievable. I never knew that either when I met you on the streets of Skid Row.
In fact, the first time you met me, I, unbeknownst to me, found myself offering you an opportunity to go on the radio and talk about this.
That's true.
And you said,
No. I was very circumspect because I'm on the streets. I know what those. I've been down there a year at the time.
And what you had said to me is, if you really want to see what I do, you come on down.
Right.
And see what I do.
Right, and you did.
Well, eventually. I was afraid for a while.
Well, that's okay, but you did. And from that stemmed thousands of people, Frank. That here we are locked in at 12. But the listeners at 12 o'clock are very passionate about what we do. I mean, Frank, the letters that I get from the people, it just boggles my mind. I just love them. I read them. I love them. And it's amazing how I'm moved. I mean, that's the support that I need. I mean, I need that kind of support. Whether it's a letter of saying, Ray, keep up the good work, or it's a telephone call saying, hey, Ray, great going. I mean, I need it. I'm not saying I don't. I'm not a robot. I don't need the verification, but I need the support. What's wrong with saying, hey, Ray, nice job? Nice job, Ray. Instead of put down. You see, jealousy. Woo. Terrible disease. It's terrible. And that's what permeates. They're always trying to find little gimmicky ways to cut somebody up.
Which stems from ego.
A total. Egotistical, self-centered self. And Frank, I like I said, over 27 some odd years ago, I hit the terrible skids for me. The very bottom of life itself. Not afraid to die in any way, shape, or form, and very close to death. And it's a very peaceful area, death. Very, very peaceful. For me it was, anyway. And no fears, no nothing. I was just ready to check out. And willing to die for what I believed in, which was nothing.
My in-studio guest is the founder of the Frontline Foundation, Ray Castellani. And we might as well open the phone lines now and take a break and take care of our few commercials here and then be back with more of the interview as well as phone calls. So if you would like to be on the air this morning on KLOS, if you have any questions or comments for my in-studio guest, Ray Castellani, feel free to pick up the phone and give us a call. Toll free at 1-800-955-KLOS. 1-800-955-5567. You'll talk to, as always, our program coordinator, Tammy Richardson. She's in the other room awaiting your phone calls. So, again, any questions or comments at all for Ray, feel free to give. And we will be back in all of about 2.5.
Of course, he still dresses like a garage sale.
Hotspot must be 18 to play. Use only as directed.
We are back, and this is Impact on KLOS Los Angeles. A very good morning to you. My name is Frank Sontag, and my in-studio guest is Ray Castellani. If you've just joined us, well, we've been on the air for about 40 minutes or so, and Ray has been talking about... Well, what have we been talking about?
Wow.
I'm not sure what the next question is that I want to ask, so I'm kind of stunned what just happened in here, actually.
Yeah, with Stu.
Yeah.
Yeah, he joined the $3 club. That was beautiful. But he just dropped his $3 off and said Ray Frontline Foundation. So, I mean, that's...
We do want to care, don't we? People do want to care. What keeps us from doing
fear,
it?
Fear of getting involved, fear of maybe I have to do something, fear of maybe is it going to take me out of my own pattern of life? I mean...
my own comfort?
Yeah, the pattern, my pattern of life. I may have to go out of my way and do something, and that is out of sync of what I normally want to do. You see, if I had an organization that was a self-help organization, then I would have everybody coming, because everybody wants to. It's again, me. See, this is going to help me. This is going to help me. This is going to help me. And so all the organizations that you see out here is all self-help, because with self-help, you have millions and millions and millions of people that are involved in one person themselves. So they want to get well, whatever that means. And so I thought about that a few weeks ago, and I thought about the tremendous amount of groups, the David Viscott and Sally Who and Hasha Hasha and all of this is all about self. It's promoting one area, self. And it's amazing. Frontline doesn't do that. I don't care what you are. Just love a little bit when you come in here. Keep your attitude on the outside and bring your love on the inside, and let's get the food prepared and get our butts out of here in downtown and pass that stuff out. Pass out a glass of water. Pass out a glass of hot soup in the wintertime. To give for the purity of giving. And that's not involved with self, you see. That has no self-help group. And then they say, I feel better. I feel better when I give.
I feel good about myself.
Yeah, I feel good about myself. I feel, I feel bad. I feel blah, 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 blah. Well, I mean, that's not what it's about. But if I had Frontline Foundation was a self-organization that had a program of self-help, oh my God, I'd have everybody and their uncle there. If I started it, I obviously didn't. Now, I know how to stay sober. I know how not to drink. Don't drink, but that's too simple for the average mind. I know how to quit smoking. Don't smoke, but that's too simple. But I can charge you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars and take the money out of your pocket and steal the money out of your pocket and give you the no smoking thing, or the no alcohol and drug treatment center, whatever that means, and spend $10,000 to $20,000 to $30,000 of your money, and you know what the answer is? Don't drink or use. But that's too simple, isn't it? So you see, you don't want me, or nobody wants me to because it's not a self-help. It's not. I'm not helping anybody. You don't understand, right? Oh, you're right. I don't. And that's where I differ, and the action of taking an action, like Stu with the $3 right here. He took an action. He's part of something, whether he wants to be or not want to be, but he's part of something. He gave. That was it. And that's all I'm asking for. I'm just asking for a bunch of givers, not a bunch of takers. I was a taker, and I say many times, Frank, takers are losers. With a big L.
We have a lot of calls this morning, more so than we usually do. Not that we don't have calls, but, I mean, the phone is stacked, and Tammy just walked in 6 right off the bat.
I hope they're love calls, not hate calls.
Well, let's take a few, and then obviously I have more questions, and I want to give out the mailing address a few more times and talk more about the $3 Club, and also the brunch. You have a brunch coming up in October.
Oh, yes. Right, October 13th. And that's another thing that I forgot all about. We got so involved, Frank, but the brunches, October 13th, they can call that number, write the P.O. box.
But they can call me at the project
or
number.
they can call you at the
Sure,
project.
absolutely.
Which is fine. And that's right, through you. And also your dinners that have helped so tremendously every other month. That's a ways off. That's in November. But I think we have a date for the dinner.
We do.
Yeah. November...
I don't know. It's in the switchboard. I can grab it. But October 13th is the brunch coming
October
up.
13th is the brunch.
And that's a Sunday that starts at noon.
Correct. At Maria's Italian Kitchen in Encino on Ventura Boulevard. So, but they can get it through the project.
Yeah. And if you're interested in finding out more about the brunch, you can call the project. If you don't know the number, it's in the 818 area code. It's 594-2077.
Right. And that's another tremendous way to be involved. I mean, so many beautiful people come to the brunch to help out. It's a $20 bill. $12 goes to the restaurant, $8 goes to Frontline, and it's a beautiful day. We have about 100 people, and all you want to eat Italian cuisine with breakfasts too. And it's just a great it's a great day, and it's a great way to get involved and to help. That's another thing. You travel a long way, but they help.
You want to take some calls?
Okay, as long as they're love.
Okay. Benjamin, you're on the air on KLOS on the Impact program.
Hey, guys. How you doing tonight?
Hey, Benjamin.
I think you're doing a great job, and the both of you guys. And basically my question is why you feel it is that people don't care about other people, and that I feel that it comes from caring about the self first, and from there, then being able to care about other people.
You're right, Benjamin. That's it.
So
doesn't have to go any further than that.
Okay.
Once you care about yourself, and if you're constantly thinking about yourself, you don't have room for the other. But once you get over that, and you become free of self, then you're able to open the door to other things. Period.
Right.
So you're right.
Okay. I'm just basically asking, what would stop people? Basically, I think people get caught in the games in their life, trying to surviving and paying the bills and all that, and don't take the time out for themselves to focus on growing and being able to give to other people.
That's right. You're right.
Okay.
I mean, what can I say?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Benjamin.
Thank you, Benjamin.
Bye-bye. You know I have a lecture tonight, Ray, right?
Yes.
Okay. You know what it's called?
No.
I'm doing a talk on self-esteem.
Uh-huh.
But it's called The Limits of Self-Esteem.
Uh-huh.
We get so caught up in self-esteem, but there's something limiting about that when we get exactly what we're talking about tonight. You can get so caught up with yourself that you lose what this is really all about.
Right. It's an involvement of self.
That's right.
See, I've never gone for any of those things, Frank. I've never gone for the value of self or self-esteem or anything. I was always doing something, and as a result of that doing, the realization came in my head that I became valuable. I became valuable because I was able to help other people, and that's where the value of self came in. Wow. It was through that process, and once I realized that, I said, "Wow! I just have to keep helping and keep doing, and I'm going to be okay." And that's because I didn't have any self-esteem. I mean, for years. I mean, it was terrible. I was worthless. Well, I was worthless, even at my worst. There was nothing good about me.
Tiffany, you're on the air on KLOS with Ray Castellani.
Hi, guys.
Is this my Tiffany or?
This is your Tiffany.
Hi.
I mean, it was really odd. I just turned on my alarm to set my alarm for in the morning, and I happened to hear your voice, and I recognized the voice. And
I was talking about you earlier.
About 2 seconds after I turned it on, I heard my name, and it was just so amazing. I just wanted to thank you guys. Frank, I wanted to thank you for giving Ray a chance to go on the air and share about Frontline.
Oh.
I woke up in the middle of the night one morning and turned on the radio, and that was the first time when I heard Ray. And that was when I got involved and decided that I wanted to do something with his program. And then, Ray's just been great. He's given me a chance to go down and help him out in the mornings.
Right.
And it was...
All the way from... you have to drive such a long way.
Well, it was well worth it. It was something that I really wanted to do and be a part of, and get a chance to give to someone who is less fortunate than myself, and try and get out of myself a little bit and give in that way, because I do believe that there are so many people that just need some love and need some help and know that people do care about them.
Mm-hmm.
And that meant a lot to me to be able to do something about it.
Well, your letter was so beautiful. I'll never forget that. I save all those letters, and it was just beautiful the way you put everything down on a piece of paper.
Well, thanks, guys. I just wanted to say thank you and keep up the good work. I try and write you a letter every now and then, Ray, just to say thank you and say hello so that someone else is still out there.
Well, I love it, and I thank you so much. And I knew right away who you were, right?
I know. I mean, it was amazing to actually hear my name. I was like, wait, that's me.
That's right. So, and you're 20, right?
Yes,
just turned 20, right.
So but I really appreciate it.
You're a beautiful example of what I was talking about, and
thank you.
So I thank you.
Well, it's a great chance to be involved with you guys, and I really do appreciate it, Ray.
Didn't you love Frontline, though?
Oh, it's great. Loving people,
yeah.
People that are just there to give of their time, and,
right. Right.
Was it scary at all for you, Tiffany?
Oh, I was scared because I didn't know what I was going to expect. Right. I didn't know who was going to be there. I didn't know if it was going to be a real large thing or something on the small side, or I had no idea what I was walking into. Mm-hmm. And I just decided one morning I had the morning off, and for myself, my mom and I went down there, and we had to wake up real early, and we just woke up and drove down there.
That's right.
And just showed up one morning and said we want to help, and it was wonderful.
You warmed my heart. And your mommy, his name is Lucy.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. We got greeted and loved and put to work. So
that's right. You did a lot of work that morning. You saved the day.
Drive.
Yeah. I don't think you stopped from the moment that you walked in.
Well, we weren't supposed to.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
I really do appreciate all that you guys do. So.
Oh, thank you.
And Frank, keep up the good work also. Really appreciate you giving Ray a chance to be on the air.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Ray can be here anytime. Ray has an open invitation.
Oh, good.
Thank you, Tiffany.
That's warmed my heart there to hear her. And just a young girl.
Dan, you're on the air on the Impact program on KLOS. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, Frank. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, Dan.
I had a question and then a little story or statement I'd like to share with you, Ray.
Is this Dan, my Dan?
Yeah, it's your Dan.
God, I get to know all your voices.
We're coming out of the woodwork on you tonight.
I hear you.
Well, one of the first times when I heard you on Frank's show, I guess I had heard you a couple of times before I ever got involved with Frontline. And you had shared this story of you told the peanut butter and jelly sandwich story before, and I wanted to ask you how you came to feeding tuna fish to the people of Skid Row.
Dan, first of all, I want to humbly thank you for your tremendous involvement with Frontline and your passionate concern about my quest in what I'm doing, and you've been a beacon of hope for me, and you've certainly taught me a lot about giving, because you are certainly gave so much with no questions asked to humanity. So I humbly thank you for that, and I want.
I'm kind of losing you, Ray. I can't hear you much on the phone.
Okay.
There you go.
Anyway, Dan, tuna fish sandwiches came because of, it was just there. And we opened up a bunch of tuna fish, and we were able to get the tuna fish at the stores, and standing in front of the markets, we were able to accumulate 100 or 200 cans at a time in a much easier fashion than anything else, and it was less expensive for the consumer that was going into the store So this is why we went with tuna fish. And egg salad is my other thing that I go with, but I mix the tuna with the egg, and also carrots and vegetables and other stuff. So it really was the least expensive, and more people could get involved. I would probably say if a school gave me 1,400 cans of tuna fish, let's just say hypothetically 1,300 of those students became involved with helping the hungry. 1,300.
Wow.
If I get something from 400 from students, I know Sandra McRae, she comes over with 300 or 200 cans. Those are 200 more cans. She does it all the time. They become involved. They're involved. They don't even know me, but they're involved. It costs 55 cents, 50 cents. Sometimes they're on sale for 35 cents for a little 6-ounce can. So it's enabling people to be involved, and I've kept it that way. And the other big thing is downtown they never get tuna fish.
Yeah.
They never have tuna fish. They very, very rarely have tuna fish, and also egg salad sandwich. So it's a real treat.
Well, I want to share a quick little story with you about my involvement with Frontline. I have many wonderful friends that I've met through Frontline and visit with at the brunches and dinners. And when I first heard about you serving tuna fish to the people of Skid Row, it reminded me of a Bible story of a man that fed the multitudes with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, and of course we know that was Jesus that was able to feed so many with so little. And for some reason that just made me think of exactly what Ray Castellani was doing, and I wanted to become a part of that. And that's one of the things that encouraged me to become involved in Frontline. And as I've thought about it later, I've been on a spiritual path of myself, and have studied a lot of spiritual teachers and gurus and the such. And there's certain people in this world that are living saints. And Ray, I'm not trying to patronize you, but you are truly a living saint.
Ooh, that's heavy, Dan. I thank you.
You're welcome, Ray.
Thank you very much.
Have a good evening.
Right.
Thank you, Dan.
All right. Bye.
Take good care. It's a little before 1. This is KLOS Los Angeles. We have a line open, 1-800-955-KLOS, if you have any questions or comments at all for Ray. And Richard, you're on the Impact program.
Good evening, Frank. Good evening, Ray.
Good evening, Richard.
How are you tonight?
Fine.
I just wanted to say that when I heard you earlier talking about compassion, I had just turned off the news a couple of hours ago, and a young man that was 31 years old was murdered in Los Angeles, a postal worker at an ATM machine for $20 or $40. And, you know, I sit here and I look at the world every day, and I'm drawing this conclusion when I go to church. I tend to be conservative, but I'm a Democrat, so I'm a pretty open-minded person. But I find the people on the right don't want to really have any tolerance of the left. And I have friends of mine that are on the left that don't have any tolerance of the right. People in the middle don't have any tolerance for either. And I have something that really, really disturbed me. I'm 6'6", and I teach martial arts and I play basketball. And I played basketball the night that O.J. Simpson was released from jail. And black friends of mine that I have been playing ball with for years, and white friends of mine, 5 minutes into the game were ready to kill each other. And I've sat here and I've drawn the parallel of where we're heading in this society. And you know, I think Frank tends to be more on the liberal side. I tend to be more on the conservative side. But the issue is that we're Americans and we're human beings. And if something Lincoln said was very profound, he said, "United we stand, divided we fall." The Bible says a house divided against itself could never stand. When I take a look at the world right now and I look at our nation, hatred has become almost a reality. And when I see a gentleman like yourself, Ray, who's trying to spread some hope and some compassion and just some sense of self-respect and human decency, it really kind of makes me feel good. My father used to say that balance is the most important word in the English language. And I truly believe that being in martial arts, because I think that when you get too extreme one way, or whether it's alcohol, drugs, sex, violence, whatever it may be, we reap a real negative consequence. The other day I happened to be looking in a record store CD store now, and I was looking at some of the titles in rap and just these insidious allegations against whites, Jews, police, women, other blacks. And I sat there and I thought, this is what's being fed into the minds of young people every day.
Mm-hmm.
We look at this rash of violence, we look at the hatred, and I'll tell you something, we can enact all the laws we want, we can hire all the police we want, we can increase government by leaps and bounds, 20,000 new laws a year it grows. But if we don't change as human beings and develop some self-respect and some other respect for other people, we're going to lose this country and we're going to lose our world. And I don't care if you're left of Karl Marx or right of Adolf Hitler or floating in the middle. If you believe in God so strong that, you think you can walk on water, or if you're an atheist or whatever you may be, we better come to that realization real quick. Because I heard today a lady talking against handgun violence, and 40,000 people were murdered in this country last year. That's insanity. And I just wanted to kind of get that off my chest because, I was talking to my mom earlier tonight, and she says compassion, and it was so amazing when I turned on your show. She says compassion almost doesn't exist. And I just want to end with this. I work part-time as an instructor's aide. There's a thing that the kids do now. It's called mad dogging. In other words, if they have eye contact, they consider that to be an act of a precursor to violence. So they don't look at each other. So there's this absolutely dehumanistic factor going on in our schools where they're afraid to look at each other because of fear of retaliation or violence. And I heard a woman call in on a radio show last week, and she said that where she works, because of sexual harassment, men are afraid to look at women and vice versa. So we're afraid to hug, we're afraid to embrace, we're afraid to show our emotions, we're afraid to have compassion. And I think that if we don't get back to being human, not black, not white, not red, not tall, not short, not male, not female, but human. If we don't get back to being human beings, then we're going to forget how to be humans. And the day that happens, something, they can kick dirt on our graves. And I just want to salute you because I think you're a fine human being, and thank you, Frank, for bringing him on. And I just hope to God we wake up before it's too late. And thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Richard.
Ooh.
Very much.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Really
Speaking
beautiful.
the truth.
Yeah, right on. Right on. That's powerful.
Jonathan, you're on the air on KLOS.
Hi, Ray. This is Jonathan Keys. How are you?
Hi, Jonathan.
Are you on a speakerphone?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There you are. You're back.
Yeah, Ray, do you remember me? My mom is Mary Keys. I used to come down.
Jonathan. Yes, Jonathan. Yes. How are you? Yeah, you played an instrument.
Yeah, guitar.
Yeah, right. Sure, I remember.
Yeah. Well, I had the same story as Tiffany. I was going to bed, and I flipped on my thing by my bed, and I heard your voice, and I said, "Is that Ray?" And it was you. So I had this great feeling. Ray is on the air.
Right.
I couldn't believe it.
And thank you, Jonathan, for all you did this summer too.
Oh, no problem. I felt good about it.
Yeah.
But I had two things that I wanted to tell you. The first one was, I think what you're doing is great, and I know that I haven't been in for a while.
That's
but,
okay.
I'm still thinking of you.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
the second thing was that I was in Starbucks the other day, and I recognized someone across the way, and, we looked at each other sort of, and it was that feeling, do I know you from somewhere?
Uh-huh.
And sure enough, it was Carol that used to work.
Oh, yeah.
That works at Frontline.
Right.
And Frontline is not only a place where people can help other people, but it's a place where relationships can be established based on the fact of compassion or helping other people. I mean, it's a great place for that.
Beautiful.
Where I know that we both went there, and knowing that we were going to help other people.
Right.
It was a great feeling seeing each other when we knew that we did that at one same place. So I'd like to thank you for that.
Oh, that's beautiful, Jonathan. That is beautiful. Jonathan, just for my edification, how old are you?
I'm 15.
15.
Yeah, I know it's pretty late, but...
I just wanted to bring that age out because I was telling people that we have such young people at Frontline, and you're an example, and Tiffany at 20, and you at 15, and Jane at 14, and the other girls, and so it was.
Right.
It's just beautiful the way you participate.
Thank you. All right, Ray. I hope to see you soon.
All right, and say hello to your mom for me.
Sure, no problem.
Okay.
Good night. Bye.
Thank you, Jonathan. Bye.
Wow,
we got them coming tonight.
Yeah, I mean, those are kids that are involved. I mean, it's just something.
If someone joined in late and would like to find out more about Frontline, give out the mailing address again, and I want to give it out again at the end in about 15 minutes or so.
Frontline Foundation, P.O. Box 570303, Tarzana, 91357.
And Frontline is a non-profit organization. It's not like you got big money rolling in.
No way. It's a non-profit organization with nickel and dime it. We stay afloat. We're healthy. We're strong, and there's nothing weak about us now. I mean, a couple of years ago we were on the ropes, but we're off the ropes, and due to the little people.
Yeah. Alfred, you're on the Impact program.
Hi, Frank. Another love call for you. I'm a big fan of yours. I've listened to you for 7 years, and I want to thank you for the avenue that you provide for us citizens of the planet. The great books that you name off there, so we get a chance to get to the bookstore and buy them and read them. And thanks, Frank. And
you're welcome very much.
Every time I hear this man's voice, my heart just gets all warm, and I get tears. And Ray, it's such an honor just to hear your voice, and I just want to thank you.
Thank you.
That's basically why I called. I just wanted to thank you, and I know all about Frontline, and you've even written me a letter before. I wrote you a letter once, and you wrote me back, and I still have that letter.
Beautiful.
I'm always going to have that letter.
Beautiful.
And I hope to see you soon. I plan to get in there and get to work, and
you've given me enough now to last me my lifetime, so don't you worry about that.
But just to keep it brief, thanks to both of you. You're both God sent, and I thank God for the two of you. And have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
That's wild. Did you realize the love and the support that came through this airways right here instead of the antagonistic, which is okay too. Everybody's entitled. Don't misunderstand me on that, Frank. But I mean, God, to support, to help is such a vehicle. And what Richard was saying, how many times have we talked about things like that? I've said that many a times, the demise of our society, and it's so true. We must care about each other, and if we don't, we're dead.
So simple, but maybe so simple we just don't get it.
Well, it has to be. I mean, it's just a matter of it has to be. Otherwise, it is the demise. I had the privilege last night of talking somewhere, and my last statement out of my mouth last night is I said our society, we're losing our society is lost, and will stay lost until we care about each other. And that's where it's at. Years ago we spoke about this, Frank, you and I, about you used to say, "Is there any hope?" I say, "No."
That's right.
And anyway.
Pepper, you're on the Impact program with Ray Castellani. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, you guys. How you doing?
Pepper, I like that name.
Thank you very much. I don't know, Ray. There must be something in the air for all these special people to turn on the radio at the same time to hear your voice. Okay, I've never heard you before, but let me tell you, as soon as I turned that on, there was like a special connection.
Well, Pepper, thank you.
No, I have to tell you, I don't know. Me and my friend Jimmy, we met about a month ago, and we've clicked ever since. Something spiritual, you know. We've been talking about how the world's just changing right now, and how many different things are going on. And I just recently got in a car accident, and I almost died. And I'm trying to support my 16-year-old little brother right now, and just things are going kind of crazy in this world, you know. And basically, I just want everybody to come together and use common sense, lend an ear, lend a hug, lend a hand. I mean, how hard is it, you know what I mean? And people just make it so tough. It's can't even go out into the street and have people looking at you, you know. It's constant bad vibes, and it's you want to reach out and just go, please just love your neighbor, you know. It's not that hard. I mean, you're around people your whole life. You might as well try to get along with them, you know?
Right.
And it's just beautiful to know that you're out there telling people these things, and I try to spread the word as much as I can, you know, to all my friends. And I just recently moved to Huntington Beach like 5 years ago. It's like the most stable place I've ever lived. And I found the most beautiful group of friends. True-hearted, always there for us. Like, nobody ever lies. Nobody ever does anything wrong to each other to try to hurt each other. And I think that's the best thing that you could ever do for people in general. And, like, if everybody just did that, it would just, the world would work and just be a peaceful place, you know? It's just so simple, and people don't understand that.
That's so beautiful, Pepper, and I can hear it in your voice too. That glow in your voice.
Yeah.
And
I just want to spread the love. You know, it's that simple. I mean, you waste so much energy like trying to be mad at somebody for somebody you don't like, for something you don't even know why you're mad at them. Like, oh, he looked at me funny. It's like, so smile back. You know what I mean? It's like, why do you have to give a dirty look back? Why do people always have to give conflict? Are they that bored with themselves? They like have nothing better to do but like talk about other people or talk about other problems. It's like, let's try to figure out solutions, you know? Let's figure this stuff out. Let's make it work. You come together, you know?
Well, that's the solution.
Exactly. It's just, God, you spread the love. It's that easy. It's common sense. It's that basic, you know? Spread the love. But I just wanted to tell you that you're a beautiful person, and that, I don't know, I think God wanted us to turn the radio on at that time, because I heard you, and it clicked, and I've never tried to call a radio station before, but I'm going to talk to this guy. I'm going to talk to him tonight. It's on. I have to tell him.
Well,
so I just want to tell you, and I appreciate what you're doing, and that's just beautiful of you.
Thank you, Pepper.
Yeah, so you guys take care, and thanks a lot.
Take good care of yourself as well. We appreciate the call. We have another caller, Ashes. You're on the air on KLOS with Ray Castellani. What kind of name is Ashes?
Oh, ukulele.
Okay. Maybe we'll just call you friend and say good morning.
Good morning, Fred. I enjoy your show.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Ray?
Yes?
I'm glad to see someone like you is on the ball.
Thank you.
And I have two things to say. Your address is 570373?
P.O. Box 570303.
Okay, because I want to send you a big donation.
Oh, Ashes.
I'm serious.
You're beautiful, Ashes.
On one condition.
Yeah.
You play my song. You name your price. The front line. You play my song.
Excuse me.
And you do whatever you want with it.
Okay.
Play your song, huh? What's your song, Ashes?
How about I'll give you pick two. My Way by Frank Sinatra or Stoned in Love with You by the Stylistics.
We'll take Frank Sinatra. Ashes.
I have to be honest with you. I'll speak for me and Ray will speak for him. The whole idea of you make a contribution if we play your song, it doesn't work for me. I would think it doesn't work for Ray, but we have Frank Sinatra queued up in here. I don't know if did you hear the program from the beginning?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, we played Frank Sinatra to start off.
Mm-hmm. So. Well, listen, you're talking about the song, how it doesn't work for you, but this donation is providing that I'm going to give it to you when I get it.
Okay. What else did you have? You said you had two things.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
You got my support, Ray. I'm glad you're out there, Ray.
Thank you.
You got my support.
Thank you.
And Frontline sounds like what I'm trying to do. It's called the Bowl Club. It's very similar.
Okay.
And as soon as I get that together, I'm going to give you the donation that I promised you.
Beautiful.
All right. Thanks for the call. We'll take a couple more and wrap it up here. Bill, you're on the air on KLOS.
Good morning, Frank. Good morning, Ray.
That is Bill M.
That's it, Bill M. Good morning. How are you, Ray?
Hello, Bill.
Good. I finally got through.
You're on your way to the brunch.
I am. In fact, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to call for some of our new listeners or those who may be turning in for the very first time. I really wanted to take the opportunity to really say that through my own personal experience in the last, 2 years or so that I've been a contributor to Frontline, that attending the brunches or attending the dinners is not just about making a donation, but for me, it's really been more about discovering who I am, and you gave me the opportunity to do that, and that was, I think, as one other caller said, it really gives us an really opportunity to really bridge the gap, I feel, between the interests, the attitudes, and the values that seem to really come between people, and those of us who get together and really support, whether it's the brunch or the dinner. It really sets in motion, at least something that I personally experienced. Perhaps a way of really coming more in touch with some part of us that we never really knew how to do, and that also, I think, allows me the opportunity to also tell the people that are listening for the very first time that one of the reasons why I became involved and why I continue to really support you, Ray, part of it is, as many people will say, is because I was actually inspired, as you know, and it's quite common that it's very unfortunate, and the problem has existed, homelessness and hunger, not only in our country but abroad, for ever since time. And I think for me, one of the reasons what made it very, very special and why I got involved, like there are many, many different organizations out there that are doing very great work, but no other organization or no other group of people or no other person other than you, Ray, has really, come from a place of love. I think really the message, I think, that has gone out through many other types of humanitarian organizations has been more perhaps political or maybe religious, or there's some other agenda. You get that feeling, and I think that really has not. That's why I never really made the connection until I met you, Ray, and that was one of the things I really wanted to say this morning. Other than I'm really looking forward to seeing you on our next brunch, and perhaps if I can just say this in closing, to maybe let people know, at least through my own experience, that people who don't know you, Ray, or perhaps have had some, and again, it's an issue, I think, with some people about donating to charities and humanitarian causes, but because of there has been, unfortunately, many such organizations have mistrusted the people, by really taking the very sincere funds that people really try to come with and end up using it other than for its total purpose, and that is to help others. And it's such a really wonderful, how should I say, it's so refreshing to know that Frontline, and again, that's another reason why I continue to really support your cause, Ray, is because it is really, like you say, part of your individual principle, really pure. There's the sincere donations of the people really do, in fact, go directly to feeding the homeless people down in Skid Row.
Wow,
and perhaps if I could just maybe say that in closing. And
thank you, Bill.
Always a pleasure, Ray. I love you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you. Perhaps also, too, you might want to talk about, maybe you want to bring it up, Frank, the presidential award that you received.
You just did.
You just did, Bill. Thank you, Bill. I'll see you on the 13th.
Thanks for the call, Bill. We appreciate it.
God bless you.
We're going to take one last call. And Greg, you're on the air on the Impact program. Good morning, Greg.
Wow, I got through.
You did.
I've been listening to this program for a couple of years now, and I can't believe I'm actually talking to Frank and Ray. Hi, Ray.
Hi, Greg.
My first question would be for Ray, then my second statement would be towards, I guess, Frank, and blow those off.
Is it easy?
Very easy.
Okay.
Speak up for us, too. You're hard to hear.
Hope. Basically, is there hope? I mean, when you guys just said that earlier, a few minutes ago, is there any hope for society? And Ray said, no, there's not. I know you guys laughed after that. I mean,
well, no. We weren't laughing at that statement. We were laughing at that we've talked about this topic, Frank and I, on the air many times in very seriousness, and so we were rehashing that for a moment. And I would throw that question back to you. I know where we are and what's going on. in our society, and I know what I'm doing about it. But you're the answer to the hope. And you have to see through your own eyes, is there or isn't there? And this is where the answer lies. Because you are very profound in, in what even asking the question. So I believe in your own framework. It's an individual thing. I can't dictate to you, certainly never would try to, that we have hope or we don't have hope. I can only say, Greg, this is what I do, and respect you for what you do in that area or towards that area.
Right, and I'm flabbergasted on all the complimentary comments, one after another, coming in.
Well, it's true.
Tonight's a weird night. It's just strange that you guys deserve that, at least. But what I was saying about hope is, as far as my point of view, when you're born, that's all that you are. What I'm trying to say is, a lot of people think they're owed something, and people don't realize that just life alone, just being alive, is the gift.
Right.
And people are so, from one extreme to another, or I guess distracted, or greedy, or whatever. They don't realize just being alive is good enough. And no one wants to take responsibility for, we can't point fingers. We have to take responsibility for our government, for the world. We are all responsible for all the shit, all the bad stuff. And we're responsible for it being bad, or it being good. Everyone. Frank's talked about that a lot. And that's great. People don't realize that when you're born, that no one owes you anything.
We appreciate the call this morning, Greg, and we thank you for it. We need to move on.
Thank you, Greg.
If you would like to contact Ray Castellani, I almost called you Sinatra for some reason.
Ray Sinatra.
Ray Sinatra. I almost said Frank Castellani. Interesting. Ray Castellani at the Frontline Foundation. The mailing address is P.O. Box 570-303, Tarzana 91357. Again, Frontline Foundation, P.O. Box 570-303, Tarzana 91357. And as always, if you missed that mailing address, we'll make sure and post that in the KLOS Community Switchboard, which you can call basically Monday through Sunday from 6 a.m. to 12 midnight. Well, here we are.
I know, I can't believe it. My God, hour and a half passed by. So quick, Frank, so quick. I sure do want to thank you, Frank, and the callers that called in, and I see the switchboard lit up so beautifully, and the energy that was put forth. That's what can make the difference, and you make a difference, Frank. And I want to just lay this out too very briefly, that I, under no circumstances, take credit for anything that has been done through Frontline, because it is the people that have done it. It's the Frank Sontags, the Tammy Richardsons, the Bill Mannheims, the Tiffanys, and the Gregs, all these people, the Pauls, I could go on, it's unbelievable. All the people on Skid Row that have made this possible. This is an entity that I'm totally free of, and this is why I can talk of it. The serving of 500,000 or 535,000 meals. All these things came to me. I did not go out and seek them, certainly. And certainly, if I had the mind to do these things, I don't know whether I could or I couldn't. If I set out to say I'm going to serve 100,000 people, I don't even know if I could even do that. In fact, you can try that one on any of the listeners. Say, I just want 100 people over for lunch on this Saturday, coming Saturday, and I'll give you 11 cents to start with, and just do it. 100 of your friends, and you have to foot the bill and serve the food. because that's what I'm asked to do a lot of times. Not now, but a lot of times early on. And it always came to me. It came to me because it was, the whole ball of wax was given to me. You were given to me, Frank, and the instrument that you were used for, and all the people that you've involved.